Good evening, everyone. Chris Schultz here with FridayNightVictors.com. We are doing our Week 2 wrap-up along with our Week 3 picks. I am joined by Frank and Gary. Gary, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. Doing fabulous.
Good. Good to see you. Frank, how you doing there?
Well, doing well after a pretty fun weekend.
You look a little hungover still. It's Tuesday.
No, that's I had Sunday to recover and get my players of the week and our staff questions to work on. So I took Sunday off work. I had personal time to use, so I made sure to put it to use. And Monday I went back to work.
Okay, well, cool. Glad you had a good time. It's good to see you guys. And well, here we are. So let's talk about some scores from last week, Week 2, and I'm going to try and throw a couple out there if I could get them up on my screen. I guess the biggest score I think that most of us thought was surprising or something was Monroe 42 and Jackson 14. Gary, you got thoughts on this game?
That's just a great win by Monroe, and you thought maybe they might overlook this game with Huron, or Saline the next week or this Friday, right? Oftentimes those games kids can look forward to look ahead, I should say, but no, they beat a good Picnic team week 1, good Jackson team in week 2. They handed it to them really, and just a great win. Blosser, the quarterback, had a big day. Yeah, great win.
Frank?
Well, that one was what really surprised me because I had mentioned how good Jackson looked coming into this game with their all-state running back Dorian Riley.
You were all over him, Frank.
Yeah. Well, take a guess how many times he visited the end zone against Monroe.
0.
Yep, a big fat donut. So I mean, I think you got to give a lot of credit to Monroe's defense for really stepping up at a big moment, and also, how about 4 fumble recoveries, give them 10 takeaways on the year. And I will also mention this: a source told me that a coach from Monroe prior to the game said, "I'll see you for a victory drink after we whip Jackson." I'm not going to say which coach or who my source was, but this coach called their shot. So
they're feeling themselves on her road there. It's a good win for Monroe is what it is. And, the defense is what's really spurring things along here. Pretty stiff defensively. And, again, I mentioned the coaching staff last week. You got to give credit to them, again, playing really well.
Yeah, absolutely. And if you get that many takeaways, you're going to win football games. It doesn't matter what level you play. It can be youth all the way on up through the pros. Another score, Riverview 24, Milan 12. Frank, your thoughts on this?
Well, I think Riverview showed that they're one of the 2 best teams in the Huron League. Could very well be the best team. Unfortunately, they don't play New Boston Huron this year until the postseason, which I'm sure we'll probably get into a little bit later. But, I mean, that Pirate defense, they shut down Cole McElvaney after he had a big week last week. So that's pretty much all I have to say.
Gary?
I think it started with the defense again with Riverview. Kincaid, Lockhart, and those boys just shut down, which we all thought was going to be a Milan team, which would be almost impossible to keep under 30 points, but they did it in a big way. So I give credit to the defense. And, of course, the T is kind of its own defense. They kept the ball quite a bit, I believe, during that game. So just a great effort by the Pirates, and they are in the catbird seat. But like Frank says, they don't play Huron, which is too bad. But, yeah, great win.
So real quick, you guys both picked Milan, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
And I picked the Pirates. Okay.
I tip my hat to you.
All right. I guess I don't have anything to say other than I'll gloat a little bit. So let's throw another score out there. Erie Mason 46, Adrian Madison 6. I took Adrian Madison in that game, and I look rather foolish.
You were going to mention that.
So I figured if I'm going to gloat a little bit, I should probably at least admit when I'm wrong. So, Gary, what's your thoughts on that game?
Just a whole lot of yardage. for Mason. They have 500-plus yards of offense. Boudry, of course, Ty Mandel, he had 123 yards rushing and a touchdown. Tanner Herrera, 150 yards receiving, 2 touchdowns. Mason's tough. They cracked my top 10 in Division 6. I had a hard time finding 10 teams better than Mason, playing better than Mason right now. Mason's tests are coming. They're coming in the form of Sand Creek and another team or two. But right now, Mason is just clicking, and they're tough.
Frank?
Did Frank leave us?
Who wants to take a guess where Erie Mason ranks in the Tri-County Conference in defense? Yes, I said defense. Where do they rank? Any guesses?
First.
Number
Frank.
1 with a bullet in points per game allowed.
These guesses are way too easy, Frank.
But, I mean, who would have expected Erie Mason to be first in the Tri-County Conference in defense? I mean, you have.
Cooper
I think
Kinsey
that
last week, Frank. Cooper Kinsey, 5 tackles for loss last week. That's a lot. If you think
That's a
about
lot,
5.
man. That's a season for some players, right?
Yes. That's crazy.
I mean, I actually talked to one of Mason's coaches last night, and he basically told me that Cooper Kinsey is part of the secret to the sauce for their defense. So, I mean, he's going to need to have these big games coming up, especially against teams like Sand Creek and Morenci, who love to pound the rock.
Okay, well, let's dive over to what other game can I pick out here? Ida 26, Hudson 14. I thought that was a pretty good win for Ida. It's never easy to beat Hudson, and after coming off that loss to Clinton, I think that's a good win for the Blue Streaks. Frank, what about your alma mater there?
Well, I actually got to watch the live feed of this game at the rehearsal dinner because it was on at Green Meadows Golf Course.
Man, what a great place to have a rehearsal dinner. Green Meadows. Did you guys golf too?
No, we didn't. We didn't end up golfing. I guess there was some of the groomsmen that decided to go play at 7:30 on the day of the wedding, but it's like that's too early of a tee time for me. But anyways, back to the game. I got to watch a little bit of it, and it's a nice bounce back win for Jeff Potter's team. I mean, Nate Miller has another touchdown pass to Kirby Karsten. I think they're starting to build some chemistry. Also, Owen Sampson had another nice game as well, 100 yards on the ground. So I think Ida's starting to get the ball rolling a little bit. They do have to play Hillsdale this week, and Hillsdale has been their kryptonite the last few years. But we'll see how it plays out.
That's going to be a great game, Hillsdale Ida. I think it's going to go right down to as the ball lasts. That's going to be a great game.
You got any thoughts on the Hudson Ida game?
I can't top Frank when it comes to Ida and them LCAA teams. Ida's a good football team. I think Ida's a really good football team, and they just week 1 they just played a state title aspiration team in Clinton, but Ida's really good, and they're gonna win a lot of games this year. And I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do even in the playoffs. We're going to talk about a little bit later, but Ida's good team.
Well, let's jump to that right now. Let's jump over to that the playoffs on Friday. I think it was Friday, maybe it was Thursday. I can't remember. The MHSAA came out with their I guess they picked their districts, and they decided to go with 18 districts, which I personally thought was a little odd. I thought they would make it 14 pre-districts. That way you could keep the teams a little more local. And but they decided to go 8-team, and you're going to have the 1 seed play the 8 seed, and 2 versus 7, 3 versus 6, 4 versus 5, and kind of go from there. So I get just, I thought I'd touch on a couple of them. And looking in Division 1, you got Monroe is in a district with Woodhaven's in there, Fordson's in there, and Detroit Cass Tech is in there. Guys, you have any quick thoughts on that?
Dearborn's solid this year too, so yeah, that's another good team, Dearborn. So
yeah, I kind of glossed over them, I suppose.
Yeah, they're solid this year. Yeah, I mean that's tough. I mean, Fortson, although they got pounded already this year pretty bad in week one, but Woodhaven's a very solid program. Fortson, of course, is a very good program. Cass Tech over the last 15 years has been one of the best programs in the state. So yeah, Division One, Monroe around here, you're going to have to get through some juggernauts, and those are the three. Yeah, it's gonna be tough.
Frank, any thoughts on that?
Well, pretty much to just echo what Gary said, I mean, you've got Dearborn Fordson, which is always tough, and for Monroe, that's kind of if they meet them, that's kind of a matchup back to the old Mega Red days. And also, you run into Cass Tech. I mean, you know what you're going to get with them. You get a team with a ton of talent and a very well-coached team, too. I've said time and time again, Thomas Wilcher is one of the best coaches in the state of Michigan.
Okay, I wouldn't disagree with that. Okay, let's jump to Division II, just looking where Bedford is. And Bedford is in a district that only has 7 teams, one of the few. So the number 1 seed will get a bye, but you're looking at teams like Dexter, and then, you've got Livonia Franklin, and then you've got Livonia Churchill. 2 very, very good teams. To me, I guess I'll just comment on this. I think Bedford will win enough to get a favorable seed, and they should be able to win a first-round game depending on the matchup. It could be Lincoln, it could be Ypsi High, who I think they just played, right? And then it could be Dearborn Heights Crestwood as well. Guys, any thoughts on this Division II, or we want to move onward?
It'll be interesting to see where Bedford ends up in terms of seed, but I think that right now, if I had to pick who ends up as the 1 seed, more than likely it's probably Dexter.
Yeah, well, I would disagree with that. It'll probably be Livonia Churchill or Livonia Franklin. That's just, my opinion, but, I don't. Gary, thoughts on that?
I don't have any thoughts. I think that's not a super tough district. I think if Bedford plays really well, they can win that.
Well, I think Churchill has cracked the top 10, and then Franklin lost the other day. I had them in the top 10.
Yeah.
So, I mean, those are pretty good teams. All 3 of the teams in Livonia are very good this year. All right, let's shoot over to Division III, and I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. But if you look at Division III, we've got Carlson, New Boston, Huron, and Riverview are all in the same district, and that district includes Allen Park, and it also includes the Panthers of River Rouge. Guys, thoughts on this?
Well, so much for championship match between Riverview and New Boston Huron, even though if River Rouge is in that district, may God have mercy on your soul who's ever playing them, even though they did lose the other day, which that was a huge surprise, them losing to East Lansing. But, it's football. Any given Friday, anybody can beat anybody. So, but I'd say Rouge is the favorite in that district, unless something crazy happens.
Right. What do you think, Gary?
With the teams dropping out due to whatever reason, it caused Allen Park to drop from Division II to Division III. Makes Division III even tougher now, because Allen Park's is going to be a tough out. Just about for anybody in that district. Tough. There was a comment on the blog that said Riverview can make a semifinal. I replied, well, Riverview's a good team, but they're going to have to go through a state power to get there. They will have earned it if they make a state semifinal.
I'll give a couple comments. River Rouge losing to East Lansing is not a surprise. East Lansing's a top 10 team. They have a very good line and a very good lineman who's committed to Michigan State. You see the pictures of this guy. He's a monster. But with that said, Rouge is huge. I do think that a team like Riverview or a team like Allen Park can compete with River Rouge. It'll be interesting to see, like a team like Riverview, if they play River Rouge and they run the tee and they're getting their 3 yards in a cloud of dust or turf, they'll hold that ball for quite some time against a team like Rouge. So I wouldn't count those teams out, but obviously River Rouge would be the favorite in that district. Okay, let's shoot over to Division 4, and we're going to try and move along because we're going to make our picks as well. We've got in the same district, it looks like Airport, Milan. Airport and Milan are in the same district. It includes, I'm going to read off the teams here, guys. Adrian, Airport, Annapolis, Clarenceville, Milan, Redford Union, Romulus, Tecumseh. It looks to me like Milan would be the favorite and Airport would have a chance if they could beat the Big Reds, because I think they can beat every team in that district. Gary, your thoughts?
I have no doubt in my mind Airport and or Milan could beat every team in that district. I know that looks like an easier district than some Division 8 districts to me, if I'm going to be honest. So that's the luck of the draw, and good for Milan and Airport.
Frank, anything?
Please let this be Milan and Airport in the championship game. Those are clearly the two best teams, because I'm not sold on anybody else. Adrian's been down for a long time.
They're all
Tecumseh's got some talent, and I got a lot of respect for Greg Dolson, their coach. I know him personally, but it's going to be Milan and Airport as to who comes out of that, unless something crazy happens.
Yeah, I guess it depends on seeds. So, all right, let's shoot to Division 5 here, and I'm gonna touch on the teams that we really cover for the most part. In one district, you've got Dundee, Flat Rock, Groseal, and Jefferson, right? And they're in there with Whitmore Lake, Summit Academy, Dearborn Heights, Robichaud, and Father Gable Richard out of Ann Arbor. Frank, what's your thoughts on this district? It looks fairly wide open to me.
I would have to agree with you there. It's pretty balanced. I mean, I haven't really seen how Summit Academy has done this year. I know they've got some talent coming back from a team that made the postseason last year and got throttled by Milan. And then also you've got Dearborn Heights Robichaud, which they've got some decent players too. And I know Gabriel Richard's got their talent. And plus we've got all our Huron League teams in Dundee. So who knows how that one's going to go. That might be throw all the names into a hat and pick one.
Yeah, Gary, thoughts?
I don't have much to add. I think a team like Groseal could sneak out of that district. I mean, Richard's going to be pretty good. Robichaud's going to have some talent. I think Groseal could find their way out of there.
Okay, and I would say depending on records, I'm assuming Summit Academy might end up being the number 1 seed coming out of there.
Right.
But it doesn't mean they're gonna win that district. Father Gabriel Richard runs the tee up there, and Groseal is obviously got a good team. So I think that'll be pretty wide open. So let's move on to Division 6, which you're looking at a district of Blissfield, Clinton, Erie Mason, and Ida, and they're joined by Lutheran Westland, E-Course, Voyager Prep, and my own Dearborn Advanced Technology Academy. So in looking at that district, I mean, you've got Clinton, who, Gary, you've got ranked number 2. You've got Blissfield, who I think you've got 5.
Yeah.
And then you've got Erie Mason in there, who you've got 10. And then obviously you've got Ida. And it's like,
Right.
Holy cow, and I'm just thinking from our perspective, we're a second-year program, and it's like,
Yeah. Tough sledding.
tough sled. Any thoughts over there, Frank, or anything, or?
Well, let's just say that we may very well be seeing a preview of what could be the district championship this Friday as Clinton and Blissfield play each other. So we'll see how that one goes. But, I mean, I think, Gary, you said to me Clinton is a favorite in Division 6, depending on who they play. But I think Clinton's a clear-cut favorite, but I would not put it past Blissfield to pull it out, because they've got a lot of athletes on that field, and let's just say you're going to get a nice sneak peek of a potential championship game Friday night.
What I like is Mason's in there with with 3 LCAA teams now when you count Clinton. So they're gonna. I would imagine Mason's gonna definitely play either Clinton, Blissfield, or Ida at some point in that district. It just has to happen, and they may play 2 of those teams. So that'll be fun. Yeah, that's tough. Chris, I apologize, man. that's rough. And when you first saw it, you had to be like, man. But you gotta be playing and attempt to beat who was put in front of you. But yeah, that's a pretty tough district. There are 4 solid, very solid teams in there. That's
Yeah, and I'll say this just from our perspective. I mean, that's an opportunity for our program to find out where we're at. We're coming off a big win against Whitmore Lake, who won their league last year and finished 8-3, and that's a T team, and we're big, and they had a hard time running the ball on us. So, but in looking at it, it's just fun to be a part of it. So that's just a personal perspective there. So, all right, let's run to Division 7. You have got a district that includes Monroe St. Mary Catholic Central, along with Riverview Gable Richard, and then you throw in Jackson Lumen Christi and Grass Lake and Springport. Gary, your thoughts on this about your SMCC homeboys?
Yeah, when I originally looked at it, I said, we didn't avoid Jackson Lumen Christi, and then you and I talked a little bit, and you asked how tough Lumen Christi was this year, and of course then they go out and get beat by Hastings. And if you do some who played who this year already after 2 games, if Lumen Christi doesn't right the ship, they could lose out. Their schedule's tough. It's always tough. It's a little bit like SMCCs where they play bigger schools, and if you don't have a good team, you're going to get waxed. And Lumen Christi seems to be down. They're a little thin, maybe some injuries bug there, COVID bug, I don't know, but something's going on there. They're not their typical selves, and I don't think they're the juggernaut that they usually are. So we'll just call it like that. I'm probably wrong, but that's what
that's what I tried to tell you when we were talking.
Right. Well, that's what I said. Yeah, how good are they going to really be this year? Well, they might be a little down, which for them is probably pretty darn good in Division 7. But yeah, there'll be a little. And then you got Grass Lake, very good program, in Richard, school you're familiar with, Riverview Gabriel Richard. It's a tough district.
I would agree. Frank, you got any thoughts on this?
Oh, even though this isn't your father's Lumen Christi team, I would say them, SMCC, Riverview, Gabriel, Richard, and Grass Lake are clear-cut top 4 who are in that district. So as for who wins it, I mean, after Lumen Christi lost to Hastings this past weekend, I'm kind of leaning Riverview Gabriel Richard in this one, but it wouldn't surprise me if the Falcons do pull it out.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to touch on this Division 8, and then we've got to jump through some games because we're trying to keep this under a certain amount of time. So Division 8 district includes Britton, Deerfield, Whiteford, Summerfield. You throw in Detroit Southeastern's undefeated right now, I believe. And then you've got, I think a team flying under the radar is Detroit Leadership Academy. Any thoughts on this, guys?
Completely wide open and winnable, just about for anybody. Whoever goes into that district into the playoffs playing well will have a chance to win that, no doubt about it.
Frank?
I second what Gary said. I think anybody could win that district, and who knows what will happen, especially with the Tri-County Conference teams who are really good offensively.
Yeah, it's probably gonna depend on just how the schedules shake out to see who ends up with the number 1 seed, because I think they would be in an advantageous position. So, all right, Hey, we've got games we've got to pick. We have to be quick on this because we've got about 12 minutes, and we just want to stay under that threshold. So,
quick.
All right, so here we go. On Thursday, we got 1-1 Grozeal playing 0-2 Flat Rock. Gary, pick.
Grozeal in a big way.
Frank?
Give me the Red Devils. I think we're going to see a big game out of Joe Pizzo.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Red Devils as well. We got 1-1 Milan traveling to 0-2 Jefferson. Frank?
I think Milan bounces back. I know Jefferson's coming off of a heartbreaking loss, but I think Milan's going to win a close one.
Gary?
Yeah, I think Milan bounces back. Jefferson last week lost a close one to Airport, and that Vanover had a big game, 8 receptions for 134 yards, a touchdown, and an 85-yard kickoff return. Look out for Vanover, but Milan wins.
Okay, I'm going to go with Milan as well. Let's go to Gary, 1-1 Airport at 2-0 Riverview.
You got to go Riverview here. But Airport may step up and surprise, but yeah, the Pirates are playing very well.
Frank?
Airport's not just the Jacob Pack show. Nick Hammond's emerged, but it's not going to be enough to knock off the Pirates. I'm going Riverview.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Riverview as well. I don't think there's much else to say. 2-0 Huron travels to 1-1 SMCC. Frank?
Oh, man. Falcons faithful, please forgive me for this, but I got to pick with my head. I'm going New Boston Huron because I don't know if SMCC has anyone to counter the Austin Myers to Isaac Smith connection.
You're cheating on your Falcons, huh?
Hey, I'm trying to win this here. I'm picking with my head.
Okay, Gary, thoughts?
If this was week 5 or 6, I would really consider picking SMCC, but they have six turnovers in 2 games. You do that against a team like Huron with the offensive firepower, you are in big trouble. I'm going with Huron.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Falcons. The Falcons are 49-2 all-time against Huron, so it's at Navarre in the darkness. So I'm going to go with the Falcons here. Let's see who else we got here. Let's go to 0-2 Pittsford at 0-2 Deerfield. Gary. Britton Deerfield, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Pittsford in this one. As you said, they're a little bit down, but a really good program. I think this is a game that could go either way. I'm hoping Deerfield takes it, but I'm going Pittsford.
Frank, are you allowed to pick this game? Is this a game you have?
I am officiating this game, but one thing I will say is both these two teams are at the bottom of the Tri-County Conference in terms of offense. So I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, I'm gonna go with Britton Deerfield winning this game. Next, let's go 2-0 Erie Mason at 1-1 Morenci. Frank.
This might actually be a trap game for Erie Mason because Morenci has shown that they're not a doormat anymore, but they're coming off of having their hearts ripped out against Whiteford, and I'm not sure they can get back up for this one. Give me Noah Boudry and company. I'm going with the Eagles.
Gary?
Yeah, Morenci put up like almost 500 yards of offense last week against Whiteford. They almost combined for 1,000 yards. That's crazy. But no one's stopping the Eagles. Not yet, anyway. Go Eagles.
Okay, I'm going to go with Erie Mason as well. Let's go 1-1 Adrian Madison traveling to 1-1 Summerfield. Gary?
Summerfield. Give me Albane all day.
Frank?
Another big game from Devin Albane. I'm going Summerfield.
All right, I'm going to go Summerfield as well. And just because you guys did. How about that? So
there you go.
All right, let's go to 1-1 Whiteford traveling to Sand Creek, who is 2-0. Frank?
Oh, Whiteford finally gets their first win against a pretty tough Morenci team, but Sand Creek is a much different animal. I got to go with the Aggies in this one.
Gary?
Yeah. Sand Creek. I mean, they just run the ball, and there's just nothing you can do about it. And I think Whiteford, although Whiteford is coming out of their double wing quite a bit, their quarterback had 16.
Stay Ruddy.
Yeah, Ruddy. Something you don't see out of the double wing is a quarterback running the ball. Normally they block. So they're coming out of that. They're going some shotgun, and they're going to have to definitely do that against Sand Creek. But Sand Creek is another animal.
Okay, I'm going to go with Sand Creek as well. Next is 1-1 Dundee at 1-1 Brooklyn Columbia Central. Gary?
Tough game, though. Give me the Vikings. Go with the Vikings. They played an excellent game last week. I think it continues.
Okay, Frank?
Columbia Central beat Onstead 21-7. Dundee beat Onstead 30-8, so I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay. I guess because of that, I'll go with Columbia Central. It's purely a guess, guys. I got no clue. All right. 1-1 Hillsdale at 1-1 Ida. Frank.
Well, I think I'm starting to see that Hillsdale might be down a little bit, and Ida's starting to get the ball rolling, and it's their homecoming game, so I'm going to go with my alma mater. Give me Ida.
Gary?
Well, I don't know if Hillsdale's that down. They're 1-1, and they lost to Blissfield, was it?
Well, they almost lost to Hudson too. So.
Yeah, well, Hudson's a good. They're not bad. Hudson's going to win some games, and look out for Hudson in the playoffs. Though
Yeah,
when they get against teams of their size, Ida's really good. I think Hillsdale's pretty darn good. Great game. TNT. I'm going with Ida though. I think they're sneaky good. Ida.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Ida as well. I think Ida wins that game. All right, let's see what else we got on here. Riverview Gable Richard 2-0 at Napoleon, who's 1-1. Gary?
Richard, good team, well coached.
Frank?
I'll go with the Pioneers over the Pirates. So give me Riverview Gabriel Richard.
Yep, I agree. I think GR wins this game and they win big. Let's see. 1-1 Trenton at 2-0 Carlson. Frank?
Well, Carlson's starting to get into some tougher competition, but I'm going to go with the Marauders in this one. I think Jay Sean Williams is going to turn another good performance.
Gary?
Give me Coach K and them boys. I'm going Carlson.
Yeah, I am too. I think, in really looking at their roster over there at Carlson, they have a really good team. And the offense they're running now really kind of suits them, the way Cobby runs the offense over there. And so I think Carlson wins that game, and I think they're going to win a lot of games this year. Let's see. Who else we got in here? All right. 2-0 Bedford is traveling to 1-0 Skyline. Gary.
Bedford. I think it's going to be Skyline. There's one good Ann Arbor team. I'm not for sure, but Skyline, I think it is.
Skyline beat Pioneer, which was kind of an upset. So
I think
they beat them kind of handily, I believe it was. A couple touchdowns.
That's right. Yeah, so Skyline might be a little up this year. I like Bedford. They're good. Bedford's tough. I think they're going to have a big year this year. They're going to sneak behind Monroe and Saline, and they might jump in there and nab this SEC.
Frank?
This is a trap game for Bedford because Saline's coming in next week, but I think that John Phillipson is going to keep his guys focused. I'm going with the Mules.
All right, I'm going to go with Bedford as well. I think I'm going to go with the road team. So, and then last of the games we're picking this week, it is the Cakes by Stephanie game of the week. That is 2-0 Saline at 2-0 Monroe. Frank, we will let you lead this off.
Oh, boy. This is probably the biggest game at Monroe in a long time. And I've picked against Monroe these first 2 weeks, and they've proven me wrong. And Saline normally has been ranked in the top 10 of Division I. They're not this year. So I'm just going to go out on a limb and say, give me the Trojans.
Okay. Gary?
I agree. Defense wins your big football games, and they're doing it on offense too. But their defense, Monroe's defense is very good, and big play, opportunistic, and I think they take advantage of that. And they finally beat Saline.
Okay. So at lunch today, I was looking through these games, and I realized the toughest game to pick was going to be the Saline Monroe game. So what did I do? I went and watched video of Saline. Guys, they're flipping good. They're big and experienced on the line. They have a great quarterback. They have two backs who can carry the ball, and they've got three receivers and a tight end who can catch it. I was amazed at how quickly they were able to go up and down the field in their offense. This may be one of Joe Palka's best teams. with that said, there's something brewing down there in Monroe. And you know what? I think they've got just enough offense. They've got a very good defense. And I think the Trojans are going to step up and finally beat the Saline Hornets. So I'm going to go with the Trojans as well. So,
although one thing I do have to mention, I said Monroe's defense has 10 takeaways this year. I'm beginning to wonder if they're going to come up with some form of a turnover chain, kind of like Miami has.
oh, yeah. Speaking of something like that, I was watching. It was a college football team. Every time they get a takeaway, they get to go and dunk the football on a little portable rim that they have. Did anyone else see that? It was pretty.
Yeah.
I think I saw that on the Come On Man segment of Monday Night Countdown.
I think that's what it was. It was like, that's the weirdest thing, but it was kind of cool, you know. One guy did a 360, another guy did the the end of the warm-up dunks where everybody jumps with them. It's kind of cool. So, but yeah, maybe they got something over there they can do in Monroe, you know. Or maybe they'll just, well, who knows. So, anyways, well, guys, that's all I got. I should say our Week 2 Player of the Week was Mr. Blosser from Monroe High. He comes away with he had a big percentage of the vote, but we had a lot of guys that were up for that award, and there were a lot of great performances. It's tough to pick only 4 guys to have up there to vote for your Player of the Week. But guys, any thought on? Is it Jacob Blosser? Is that the name?
Yeah. Yep.
Yes.
Any thoughts on him before we sign out of here, guys?
Frank.
Well, he put up a really good performance against a pretty good team on the road, so I think that's why he ended up getting the vote of the people.
Let's make sure we get our sponsors in, Chris.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary. You throw them out there. You're much better than me.
RKD Lawn in Ida, and Cakes by Stephanie. Who else we got?
Those are our main 2. We got Monroe Sports, Varsity Athletics.
Varsity Athletics.
You know, they've always
Thank you to our
been around
sponsors.
for us.
Yes, thank you to our sponsors. Please support our sponsors, RKD Lawn Service and Cakes by Stephanie, Monroe Varsity Athletic, Joe Bellino. Vote for Joe. Thank you.
Go Joe. All right, so with that said, hey, real quick, we're going to wrap up. Friday night, Frank's officiating the game. Gary's got the call on the SMCC Huron game. I am not going to be at a game. My Advanced Tech Lakers are playing at Livonia Clarenceville. They're putting their undefeated record on the line. But I am going to be in Pittsburgh with family. My wife's family's coming in from all over the country, and we're meeting in Pittsburgh. I'll just leave it at that. So I won't be at a game. So the scoreboard will be updated. Hopefully, Gary, is that the plan? Maybe.
If I can talk somebody into it, somebody wants to go to the Huron game. They have a ticket.
Well, we'll find a way to get it updated.
Yeah.
So,
And I'll also have my Friday What to Watch For on the Facebook page too.
oh yeah, go to Facebook Live, the Friday Night Victors Facebook page. Frank doing his thing. It's not the first from the field anymore. It's the, what are we calling it again?
Yeah, well, the first on the field is only when I can go to games. Since I can't go to them, I'm doing a Friday What to Watch For. I'll pick a few games, just throw a few things out there for the people to watch for, and just my thoughts.
I think it'd be really cool to do the first from the field in your stripes.
That's going to be too much of a pain logistically for me.
Probably be frowned upon as well. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you coming on again. We're still Zooming here, but everybody, thanks for watching. FridayNightVictors.com. Do us a favor and make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page. That always helps that video comes out on, and then subscribe to the blog as well. Then whenever an article comes out that we write or something like that, you get a notification. So, guys, have a great night. Thanks, everybody, for watching. FridayNightVictors.com.